Hello everyone and welcome to another random bits and pieces segment from my brain, and today, still a while, for we are playing some more Franchise Hockey Manager 7 with my Tampa Bay Lightning Historical Challenge. Alright, so we have been playing a lot better of late. Of course, it's too little too late to think about playoffs. We are not going to be in the playoffs, and with the trade deadline gone and behind us, that means that right now we are playing to kind of figure out where the team is going to be heading next season, who I am going to really want to keep, who I might want to be trading. I have a few ideas, and I can guarantee you the lineup is not going to be the same when we start the next season. But for now, we are going to go ahead and continue with who we have, and we're going to continue to get points and maybe raise the value of some of our players, and then that makes them a little bit more interesting for trades. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Don't really have to fix lineups today or anything like that, so we are pretty much good at this time. Alright, so Mike Peluso is available. I'm not gonna pick him up. I don't need a face puncher. Adam Oates has racked up 600 points in his career. That's pretty good. That was with a goal against Montreal. So 30 years old, Adam Oates, still a 4-star player. Greg Adams has a strong game. He had 3 goals and 2 assists against Buffalo. That is indeed a pretty good game. Alright, and Takeshi Okubo is still unhappy with my work. So what can I do? I mean, we went 7-3-1 last month. That's really good. I mean, for that Tampa Bay Lightning team, it's pretty good. You should, count your blessings, buddy. But hey, what do I know? I'm just the guy with the shit piercing jobs, or in his lip, or I don't know what that is, so still haven't figured it out. Alright, we are going to advance one more day, and then we are going to be playing 3 games at home, and then a few games on the road, and then back at home again. Alright, a night to remember for Mario Lemieux, who had 3 goals and 3 assists against Philadelphia, so that's pretty good indeed, and that was 35 straight games for him with a point. Nobody's able to stop him, huh? And that was 9 straight games with an assist. Jim Sandlak is suspended in Vancouver. He's going to miss 3 games. Alright, and then those guys are starting to get acclimated a little bit better. Alright, so Montreal is now in town. Montreal is not having a good season. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs at this point. And as we know, in 1993 they won the Cup. So not having a season to the image that they had that season. They didn't finish first or anything like that. They were a little bit kind of the underdog when they won the Cup, and they really won the Cup on the shoulders of really good goaltending from Patrick Roy, and they won like 1 million games in overtime or something like that. That was crazy. And like, they had some really clutch plays by their depth players as well, so that's how they won the Cup. Like, they weren't it wasn't a terrible team or anything, but they were a little bit of the underdogs. Like, Pittsburgh was really expected to repeat and win the Cup again, but that didn't happen. But anyway, alright, so Montreal is 22-39-5, so they are struggling. They are in town. We lost the first meeting of the season against them, 4-0 in Montreal. Hopefully we can do better this time. Alright, so Montreal's going with Patrick Roy net, and we are going with Wendell Young, of course. Alright, go Lightning, go. Oh, and it starts with a 5-2 win against Montreal at home. Another nice victory. So I think I have my tactics where I want them. We've been playing a lot better lately. We also outshot Montreal 36-24. Wow, that's pretty good. So Mikael Anderson was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Danton Cole was the second star with 2 assists, and Sean Chambers was the third star with a goal. We had 8,897 people in attendance for this game. Right, so the first goal of the game was scored by Mikael Anderson on the power play from Danton Cole. It was 1-0 Lightning after 1. Then in the second period, we scored 2 more goals. Doug Crossman scored on the power play from Brian Bradley and Joe Rickey. And then Rob Zamuner from Danton Cole. It was 3-0 at that point. And then Montreal scored twice, made it 3-2 Tampa Bay after 2. And then we scored 2 more goals in the third period. Sean Chambers scored from Mikael Anderson, and then Mike Hartman scored in an empty net from Tim Berglund, and it was 5-2, and that's the final score. So nice game here against Montreal. Now, those of you who know me know that I'm always happy to beat Montreal. It doesn't matter who my team is. If we beat the Habs, that puts a little smile in my heart. Strong game for Andrew Castles. We haven't seen his name much in this playthrough. So 4 assists for Andrew Castles against the Devils. So pretty nice little game. Big game for Murray Craven, who had in that same game a goal and 4 assists. Pat Verbeek extends his goal streak to 5 games in that same game. He had 2 goals and an assist. And Adam Creighton is getting closer to return. Alright, so we have a couple days off before we host the Calgary Flames. And we have yet again a pretty busy month. That's pretty typical though in the NHL. In March, March is almost always the busiest month of the season for any team. So that's kind of to be expected. Alright, so a couple of days off, so let's feel better about ourselves. Alright, so Gary Volk in Vancouver was looked at, but he was not suspended. Luc Robitaille extends his point streak to 12 games in that same game. He got a goal against Boston. Claude Lapointe is suspended in Quebec. He's going to miss 2 games. And Rich Sutter is back from suspension in St. Louis. Until next time, Rich, we'll see you when you take another suspension. And then Adam Creighton is almost back. Actually, maybe he's going to be back for the game tomorrow against Calgary. Not quite. Right, what do we have here? Oh, Scott Stevens is hurt in New Jersey, but it's only for about 4 days. So it's a bruised finger. Oh, the Rangers stopped Mario Lemieux, so no point for Mario Lemieux, and his point streak ended at 35 games. Right, and of course his assist streak ended at 9 games by the same token. And yep, Adam Creighton's about to come back, we know. Alrighty, so now we have Calgary in town. Calgary is not doing all that great. They are 26, 36, and 4. That's good for 10th in our conference. However, we are 0-2 against the Flames this season, so maybe a win here would be nice. Alrighty, so Mike Vernon is going to be in net for the Flames. We are going to go with Wendell Young. And it's another win for the Lightning, 3-1. We are doing not too bad. What's happening is we're screwing ourselves out of a decent draft pick at this point. Maybe. We were outshot in that one 32-21, but we still managed to win. So Sean Chambers was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. And McInnes was the second star with a goal. And Brent Gretzky was the third star with a goal as well. We had 9,091 people in attendance for this game. Alright, so Brent Gretzky scored the first goal of the game from Tim Berglund and Sean Chambers, and then Rob DiMaio scored short-handed from Sean Chambers. It was 2-0 Lightning after 1. Then at the start of the second period, Brian Bradley scored on the power play, made it 3-0. And then later in the period, the Flames scored, made it 3-1. And then nobody scored in the third period, although there was a fight between Mike Hartman and Ronnie Stern. And that was it, 3-1. Another win for Tampa Bay. Alright, so Luc Robitaille extends his point streak to 13 games with a goal against the Waiters. And Murray Barron is suspended in Toronto. He's going to miss 3 games. Okay, sorry about that. We have yet again a couple days off here before we host the Jets. Alright, so Jeff Chikron and Graham Townshend are available. Alright, so Darius Kasparaitis is back from suspension. He is back in the lineup for the Islanders. And then we have Adam Creighton that's back. Alright. Oh, I'm gonna need to take care of that right now, huh? So let's go ahead and put Adam Creighton back here. Then I think I'm gonna send Mark Bureau down. I'm not really using him. Alrighty. So now I do need to put Adam Creighton back in the lineup, so I'm gonna go ahead and pause real quick and I will be right back. Alright, so I decided to scratch Brent Gretzky. He hasn't been doing much this season, and Jason Lafreniere has had a couple decent games, so we're going to try him. I moved Lafreniere back to the fourth line and put Adam Creighton back on the second line where he was. So let's see if we can continue winning with that setup. Alright, so Claude Lapointe is back from suspension in Quebec, back in the lineup over there. Alright, so we are going to be hosting the Winnipeg Jets. They are 37-24-6 right now, and that is good for second in the conference, so they are pretty good. We are 0-1 against Winnipeg this season, lost 5-4 in the first game. Alright, let's see if we can beat them this time. Alright, so Rick Tabaracci is going to be in net for Winnipeg, and we are going to go with Wendell Young. And we lost that game 4-1. Cannot win them all. At least that's what they say. Oh, we had a pretty good output there. 45 shots. So Tabaracci had a pretty good game. So we outshot Winnipeg 45-34 in that game. Phil Housley was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Rick Tabaracci, second star with 44 saves. And Thomas Steen was the third star with 2 assists. We had 9,243 people in attendance for this game. So Winnipeg scored first in the first period, and then they scored again in the second, and then we had Adam Creighton celebrating his return to the lineup, scoring a goal from Rob DiMaio. It was 2-1 Winnipeg after 2. We were still in it, but then we allowed 2 more goals in the third period, and we ended up losing this game 4-1. Alright, not much more to say about that, and now Mike Hartman is hurt. Alright. He's day-to-day, so we'll go ahead and see what happens here. Pavel Bure has a strong game. He had 3 goals and an assist against the Rangers. Luc Robitaille's point streak ended at 13 games against the Devils. It was held pointless. And Jim Sandlak from Vancouver is back in the lineup after serving his suspension. Alright, so we play the Leafs in a couple days. We'll see if Mike Hartman is good to go. If not, we'll have to replace him. Suspension for Adam Foote in Quebec. He is going to be out for 2 days. And then Richard Zemlichka extends his goal streak to 5 games with 2 goals and 2 assists against the Whalers. Alright, Steve Yzerman extends his assist streak to 8 games with a goal and an assist against the Flames. Brent Sutter has a good game. He had a hat-trick against the Rangers. That's pretty good. Alright, and Wayne Gretzky is back from suspension in LA. Alright, so we had, of course, Wayne Gretzky suspended for a while, which is kind of funny to me, but anyway. Oh boy, yeah, the last game of the month, that's going to be the 2D action, is going to be against another really good team, so we're going to probably expect a loss there. It's what they call a scheduled loss. We're going to pencil it in. Oh boy. Well, I said that about Pittsburgh, and we won, so who knows. Alright, now I have to check for Mike Hartman. Yeah, he's not going to be able to play. So we're going to go ahead and scratch him. And I guess we are going to dress... who do I want to dress? John Tucker or Brent Gretzky? Let's go with Brent Gretzky. Hey, you're back in the lineup, buddy. How do you feel? We're just going to... Since it's only for a few days, I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'm just going to put Brent Gretzky right there. I probably have to put him on the... No. Alright. That's gonna do for now. Alright, so we are in Toronto. Toronto is 33, 32, and 3. That's good for 5th in the conference. And thanks to really good play against the Leafs lately, we are now 4 and 3 against them. So we have an actual winning record against the Leafs. So let's see if we can get it to continue here. So we're gonna go with Wendell Young. They are going to go with Grant Fuhr. And we won 4-3, another W for us. That's pretty cool. Alright, so again, we outshot Toronto 43-37. Mikael Anderson was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Sylvain Lefebvre was the second star of the game with an assist. And Sean Chambers is yet again a star. I think he's been a star in all of our wins this month. And he is the 3rd star with an assist. I could be wrong. So Toronto opened up the score in the first period, and then we tied the game. It was Rob Di Maio scoring from Doug Crossman and Mikael Anderson. It was tied at 1 after 1. Then in the second period, Chris Conto scored from Sean Chambers, made it 2-1 Lightning. Then we went into the third period. Toronto tied the game. Then we took the lead back. It was Adam Creighton from Mikael Anderson and Roman Amerlik. Then Toronto tied the game again, and then we took the lead again for the final time. It was a power play goal by Brian Bradley, assisted by Doug Crossman and Joe Rickey, and it was a 4-3 victory because Toronto couldn't tie the game. Alright, so Brent Gretzky is getting better at left wing, and then Murray Barron is back from suspension. So back in the lineup here in Toronto. So we have a couple days off before we play the Jets in Winnipeg. We just played them. Oh, that might help us. Phil Housley is going to miss the next 6 games with a suspension, so the Jets are going to be without their best defenseman. Then minor injury may take Scott Stevens out of lineup. He's out for 6 days with a bruised hip, so I guess being the big hitter that Scott Stevens was is starting to take a toll on his body. Hurt his finger earlier and now a bruised hip, so nothing too terrible, but I guess a few bobos here and there. All right, so Brian Bellows has a strong game. He had 3 goals and an assist against Quebec. John Leclerc extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal in that same game. And Kirk Muller has a memorable game in that same game. He had a goal and 4 assists. So a lot of news about the Montreal Canadiens here. All right, and we are now in Winnipeg. So Winnipeg now is 39-24-6. They are still second in the conference. They are without Phil Housley, and they just beat us a couple games ago 4-1. Let's see if we can beat them on their home ice. We're still going to go with Wendell Young. They are going with Rick Tabaracci. Just unable to beat the Jets this season. We lost 4-1 again here in Winnipeg. So the Jets outshot us 32-25. Teemu Selanne was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Thomas Steen was the second star with an assist as well. And then I think it's Sergei Botin. Is that it? He's the 3rd star with an assist. Let's see. Yeah, Sergei Botin. Yeah, I got it right. All right, so the Jets scored first in the first period, and then Jason Lafreniere scored from Tim Berglund and Roman Amerlik. Tied the game at 1, but shortly after, the Jets scored again, and then they were leading 2-1 after 1. And the Jets scored again in the second period, made it 3-1 Winnipeg at that point. And then finally, they scored yet again in the third period, made it 4-1, so we were never quite in that game. The Jets played us pretty good. So my tactics that I have don't seem to be very effective against the Jets. All right, Brent Gretzky just got better at left wing again. All right, now we have a couple days before we go home to play against the Waiters. Dave Snugrud is suspended in San Jose. He's going to miss 3 games. Brad McCrimmon played his 1,000th game in his career. That happened against the Sharks. Didn't get a point. So, 33 years old Brad McCrimmon, 1.5 star player. And in that same game, Steve Yzerman's assist streak ended at 8 games. He did get a goal, though. Alright, suspension over for Adam Foote. He is back in the lineup in Quebec. And then Mike Hartman is starting to feel better. Alright, and now Hartford is in town. They are 34-30-4. And we are 0-1 against Hartford this season. We did lose in Hartford earlier this season, 3-2. So now let's see if we can beat them. Alright, so looks like Sean Burke is not the starter in Hartford. That's weird, but okay. I mean, they've been winning, so who am I to say anything? So Sean Burke is going to start for Hartford. We are going to go with Wendell Young. And we won 4-1. All right. So we outshot Hartford 39-25. Mark Bergevin was the first star of the game. He had an assist. Alexander Karpovtsev was the second star with a goal. And Chris Kontos was the 3rd star with a goal. We had 8,846 people in attendance for this game. So the Waiters scored first in the first period, and then we scored twice. So Karpovtsev scored short-handed from Rob Zamuner and Mark Bergevin, and then Mikael Anderson scored on the power play from Brian Bradley and Doug Crossman. It was 2-1 Tampa Bay after 1. Nobody scored in the second period, and then in the third, Chris Kontos scored from Bobby Ellick and Ken Hodge, and then Danton Cole scored on the power play from Doug Crossman and Mikael Anderson, and it was 4-1. That's how the game ended. Hartford never tied the game. It looks like we had a pretty dominant game there. I like that. Alright, Mike Hartman back soon. That's okay. And Mark Macy played into his 1,000th game in his career, celebrated that with an assist. That was against his former team, the Edmonton Oilers. And Messier is 32 years old, and he is still a 5-star player. Alright, so Toronto is now going to be in town. Wow, we're going to play them for the 9th time this season. This is crazy. So Toronto is now 33, 34, and 3. So they were slightly above 500 when we played them last, and now they are slightly under. They are 6th in the conference. We are now 5 and 3 against Toronto this season. So Grant Fuhr is still going to try to beat us. He's been struggling lately. And then we are going with Wendell Young, of course. And we won 7-5. Wow. Oh yeah, Grant Fuhr didn't have a very good game here. So we were outshot 36-27. Mikael Anderson was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and 2 assists. Dmitry Mironov for Toronto was the 2nd star with 2 goals and an assist. And Rob Zmayo was the 3rd star with 2 goals and an assist as well. 8,882 people in attendance for this game. So, alright, so we scored quite a few goals, so that's going to take a second here. Mikael Anderson scored first from Rob Zmayo and Adam Creighton. At that point, it was 1-0 Tampa Bay. Then Toronto scored twice, took a 2-1 lead, but then Adam Creighton scored his 15th from Rob Zamuner. It was tied at 2. And then before the end of the period, Dmitry Mironov scored, so Toronto was up 3-2 after 1. Then they took a 4-2 lead into the second period. And then Brian Bradley scored on the power play from Mikael Anderson to reduce the lead to just 1 goal. So after 2, Toronto was still up 4-3. And then we had Mikael Anderson scored early in the third period from Tim Berglund, tied the game at 4. And then we took the lead. Rob Zmayo scored his 15th on the power play from Roman Amerlik and Jason Lafreniere. It was 5-4 Tampa Bay at that point. Then the Leafs tied the game again, so it was tied at 5. And then Rob Zmayo scored from Mikael Anderson and Roman Hammerlich. And then Rob Zamuner added the entrance marker with 3 seconds left to go in the third period. That was an empty netter, assisted by Sean Chambers. And it was a 7-5 win. That was a little bit of a crazy game there. But we won. That's what matters, right? Steve Yzerman extends his point streak to 12 games. He had a goal and 3 assists against the Minnesota North Stars. Craig Simpson extends his goal streak to 5 games. He had a goal and an assist against New Jersey. And that was 8 straight games with an assist for him as well. Laurie Bushman is back from suspension in Ottawa, so back in the lineup over there. Joe Mullen has produced 500 assists in his career, did get 2 assists against Washington. So Joe Mullen, 36 years old, 3.5-star player still. No further punishment for Greg Adams in Vancouver, not suspended. And then we have Mike Hartman that's about to come back. Yet again, they keep teasing us about it. Still not happening. Alright, so one more click before we play Buffalo, and Mike Hartman is still not back. Alright, so we are going to be hosting the Buffalo Sabres. Buffalo is 28, 37, and 5, so not a great season in Buffalo, despite having guys like Dela Werchuk and Pat LaFontaine and Dominik Hasek, of course. So they should be a little bit better than that, I would think. So we are 0-1 against Buffalo this season. We did get a tie in Buffalo earlier this season. So we are going to host Buffalo. And then tomorrow we're playing in Chicago, and I'm going to send Jeff Hackett in net for that one. So Darren Pupa is going to be in net for Buffalo. They're not even starting Dominik Hasek. Oh well. And then Wendell Young is going to be our goaltender. Oh, we lost that game 5-4. Alright. So we completely outshot Buffalo to 47-29, but we couldn't win that game. So Jeff Bloomberg, it was the first star of the game. He had an assist. Rob Zamuner was the second star with 2 goals and an assist, and Dave Hannon was the third star with a goal and an assist. We had 9,133 people in attendance for this game. So Buffalo scored first in the first period, and then Rob Zamuner tied the game shortly after, a minute and 3 seconds later. That was his 15th of the season from Doug Crossman and Brian Bradley. And then Adam Creighton gave us the lead with a short-handed goal from Rob Zamuner and Chris Contos. It was 2-1 Tampa Bay after one. Everything looked good. But the second period happened. Buffalo tied the game. Then we took the lead back. Rob Zamuner scored from Brian Bradley and Danton Cole, and we had the lead again, 3-2. But then Buffalo scored 3 unanswered goals, and they were up 5-3 at that point. Early in the third period, Rob DeMaio did score to bring us to within 1 goal from Mikael Anderson and Alexander Karpovtsev, but we could never tie the game, so we lost 5-4. Oh, Rob DeMaio got hurt. I'm gonna need to take care of that, huh? Well, Mike Hartman is back, so I might just be able to swap. Alright, so Pat LaFontaine is sidelined. Oh, in that game against Buffalo, we hurt Pat LaFontaine for 3 months. Season over for Pat LaFontaine. Fractured fibula. Ow. Steve Yzerman's point streak ended at 12 games, was held scoreless against the Bruins. Christian Ruutu is suspended in Chicago. He's going to miss 4 games. And so will Adam Bennett. He's going to miss 1 game, though. Mario Lemieux extends his goal streak to 5 games. That was a 1-goal performance against the Flyers. Peter Klima extends his goal streak to 5 games as well, with a goal against the Leafs. Craig Simpson extends his assist streak to 9 games with 2 assists against the Leafs in that same game. Mike Hartman is back, so I might just... Well, I don't know that I want to... Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and pause and figure it out here, so that I don't spend 5 minutes debating on screen, so I'll be right back. Alright, so I basically scratched DeMaio and I bumped Ken Hodge a little bit higher in the lineup and put Mike Hartman back on the 4th line. So that is pretty much where we are at. And now we are going to be... Oh, what I did forget is to do this. There you go. And now we're going to be in Chicago playing against the Hawks. They have a losing record. I'm a little bit surprised about that. The Hawks should be pretty good. So they have a 31-35-6 record. That's good for 9th in the conference. And we are 0-3-1 against the Blackhawks this season. So let's go ahead and see if we can beat them in Chicago. It's going to be a tough game. Alright, so Jeff Hackett is going to be in net for us. Renato Tosio is going to be in net for the Hawks. And let's see what happens. Oof, we lost 9-5. What a crazy game that is. Alright, so Chicago outshot us 43-32 in that game. Jeremy Roenick was the first star of the game. He had 3 goals and an assist. Michel Goulet was the second star with 2 goals and an assist. And Brian Marchment was the third star with 3 assists. So Chicago scored first in the first period. Then Danton Cole scored on the power play from Doug Crossman and Brian Bradley. And then Brian Bradley scored his 30th from Rob Zamuner and Danton Cole. Made it 2-1 Tampa Bay. But Chicago would tie the game before the end of the period. And it was tied at 2 after 1. Then in the second period, Chicago scored again really early. It was 3-2 Chicago at that point. Then we scored twice. Jason Lafreniere scored from Brent Gretzky and Doug Crossman. Tied the game at 3. Then we took the lead with Mikael Anderson's 25th. Scored on a power play by Joe Rickey and Danton Cole. And it was 4-3 Tampa Bay at that point. But yet again, before the end of the period, the Blackhawks tied the game. And it was tied at 4 after 2. We had a lot of penalties in the second period as well. Then we took the lead yet again early in the third period. Adam Creighton scored from Ken Hodge. It was 5-4 Tampa Bay, and then the roof fell on our heads because Chicago scored 5 unanswered goals after that. Actually, it was Yikes. It was 5 goals in 6 minutes and something. So yeah. And that was it. We couldn't hold on to that lead, and we just crumbled defensively at the end of the game. And Ken Hodge is hurt as well. Well, that's no good for him, I guess. I just bumped him up in the lineup. Alright, so memorable night for Jeremy Roenick. In that game against us, he had 3 goals and an assist, as we saw. Suspension over for Adam Bennett back in the lineup in Chicago. Oh, Mario Lemieux is hurt. That's not good for them. Torn calf muscle, out for 5 months. I think they're going to be without him for the rest of the season and playoffs. That's not good for Pittsburgh. They kind of need Mario Lemieux. Wow. No further action needed for Minnesota's Carl Dykhouse, so not suspended in Minnesota. Peter Bundra has a good game for Washington. He had a hat-trick against the Sharks. And speaking of the Sharks, Dave Snugrod is back from suspension over there. Oh, Mikhail Tatarinov is available on waivers. Yeah, I'm not going to pick him up. Alright, let's go ahead and figure out here what we're doing with those injuries. Yeah, Ken Hodge cannot play, so I think John Tucker is going to draw in. What do I want to do with you? I think I'm going to play you on the wing. Wait, how long is it saying? Like 1 to 2 weeks here? No. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and dress you. Oh, cannot dress you before I scratch you. Then dress you. Alright, now let's go ahead and give him. Alright, so you're set as a playmaker. Is that the best you can do? Yes, yes it is. Playmaker 11. Yeah, that's not all that great, but it will have to do. Alright, and John Tucker was a bit of an offensive player, so I'm okay with you playing on the second line. Plus you're a right-hand shot, so let's put you there. Actually, I'm going to put Adam Creighton here. I don't need to change anybody here, and I think I'm good here. Oh, I do want to put Wendell Young back as my starter. Alright, so we are now going to be playing in New Jersey against the Devils. We have 3 games left here in March of 1993, and we've done okay so far, I think. But injuries are starting to catch up to us. So the Devils are, oh god, the Devils are worse than us. They are 24, 45, and 3. That's not good. And we are 1-0 against the Devils this season. We beat them 5-2 earlier this season. So let's see if we can beat them in New Jersey this time. We're going to have Wendell Young in net. They are going to go with Martin Brodeur. Oh, we lost 6-5. See, I shouldn't have mocked the Devils for being worse than us. Now, they got angry, and they also didn't take a single penalty, so that might have been part of the problem. So New Jersey outshot us 41-22. Ken Daneyko was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Tim Berglund for us was the second star with a goal and an assist, and Tom Chorsky was the third star with 2 assists. So the Devils took a 3-0 lead into the first period. And then midway into the second period, they were up 5-0 at that point. But before the end of the second, we scored twice. Brian Bradley scored from Doug Crossman, and then Brian Bradley again from Rob Zamuner and Danton Cole. It was 5-2 New Jersey after 2. Then Mike Hartman scored from Brent Gretzky and Chris Kontos, made it 5-3 New Jersey. And then New Jersey scored again, made it 6-3. We did score twice. Tim Berglund from Bobby Elick, and then Joe Rickey short-handed from Tim Berglund and Sean Chambers. We were down 1 with 5:41 left to go in the third period, but we just couldn't tie the game. So we dug ourselves a deep hole in the first period, and we never quite recovered. All right. Oh my God! Come on, guys. Can't keep up with having, one guy a day falling to injury. Kenage ready for contact. Well, you might be the one coming back into the lineup if you're able to take a hit. And we have one more day here to figure that thing out. And then we're going to be playing in Ottawa against my favorite team, the Sens. Alright, so Ken Hodge seems to be doing the best out of all of them. Yep. So Ken Hodge comes in, Danton Cole goes to the scratch box. Alright, so now... Right, making sure that so we're not getting any more progress reports every month. I don't know if it's intended that way or if it's a change they try to make and it's not working as intended. I am not sure. I know that in previous versions of the game we would get a progress report on all of our players once a month, and we do not anymore. So I'm every time I put somebody back in the lineup, I kind of check to see what would be their best. Let's put you as a counter-attacking forward. I don't have one of those. Let's change your role here. And we're going to put you a little bit higher in the lineup. How about that? There you go. You're now on first line duty. At least for now. Should I put John Tucker on the first line? Or should I put Kenage? Let's put John Tucker. Promotion. There you go. Scratched all year. Played in the minors. All the way to first line of power play because of all the injuries. How about that? Oops, on here I might have to... No, I don't have to change anything here. Okay, so we are good to go. Alright, so we're playing the Sens. Of course, the Sens is our cousins from expansion. They are doing a little worse than us, but they are doing better than they did in real life. They are already 11 points ahead of where they were in real life at the end of that season. So Ottawa is 16-53-3, and we are 1-0 against Ottawa this season. We beat them 7-0. Alright, so we are going to go with Wendell Young again. They are going to go with Peter Sidorkiewicz. So let's see here if we can win this game. We did 3-2, so they made us work for it, but we did get the W. And they outshot us 37-24 too. So Brian Bradley was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Jamie Baker was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Doug Crossman was the third star with an assist. Alright, so Mikael Anderson scored first in the first period. That was a power play goal from Brian Bradley. And then the Sens tied the game at 1. So it was tied at 1 after 1. Then Brian Bradley scored on the power play in the second period from Sean Chambers and Roman Amerlik. It was 2-1 Tampa Bay at that point. And then in the third period, Jamie Baker tied the game at 2. But then Tim Berglund scored the game winner with 4:08 left to go in the third period from Doug Crossman and Chris Contos. And that was a 3-2 win. So Ottawa played us pretty good here. We just came up on top. Alright, so memorable game for Dmitry Kvartalnov in Boston. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals. Big game for Adam Oates, who had 4 assists in that same game. Steve Larmer has a memorable game with Chicago. He had a goal and 4 assists against Buffalo. In that same game, Jeremy Roenick got 3 goals and an assist. And in Pittsburgh, Leo Gudas got suspended. He is going to miss 2 games. Herb Brooks looks to save his job in New Jersey, as we just saw New Jersey struggling this year. They are 25, 46, and 3. So, looking to keep his job. And Ken Hodge is doing better. I'm having him play, actually, because he can, and many of my other players cannot. So there's a little bit of a decimation job going on my right wing. Alright, and we are simming one more day. Kevin Kaminski is available on waivers. Craig Simpson's assist streak ended at 9 games, so he didn't get an assist. He did get a goal, though, against the Kings. Phil Housley is back from suspension in Winnipeg. And this is it. This is the last game of the month, so that's going to be the 2D action. It's going to be against the Red Wings, so that's going to be a tough one, that's for sure. But hey, last time we played a tough team in 2D, we won against Pittsburgh. So Detroit is going to be in town. They are 66-8-3 this season. They are all alone the top of the conference. We are 0-5 against the Red Wings. So yeah, if you want to make a prayer right now for us to win or something, that would be pretty much now. So they're going to have Tim Chevalday in net. We're going to have Wendell Young. So hopefully it's not like a 9-0 game or anything like that. Check here. Alright. So I have my settings. Alright, well, go Lightning, go. Look at us, we got a shot on goal. Oh wow, 3 guys on Ray Shepherd and we can't even get the puck. Uh-oh. Not sure what that was. Oh. Well, that was a good chance, but we didn't score. Oh, it's a goal. We scored first. Jason Lafreniere from Brent Gretzky and Mark Bergevin, and it is 1-0 Tampa Bay with 15:05 left to go in the first period. Who would have thought that we would score first? Uh-oh, we took a penalty. Mark Bergevin took a penalty for tripping. And now what is probably the very deadly power play of Detroit is stepping on the ice. Yep, and it's a goal for Detroit. Steve Yzerman from Ray Shepherd and Steve Chiasson, and it is tied at 1 with 14:36 left to go in the first period. Let's go little squares. Oh, Bob Probert fought, and he fought against Jason Lafreniere. Wow, okay. Oof. Puck is out of play. I think we tried a bang play on the boards. Oh boy. Wendell Young with the bad play behind the net there. That was scary. That should be an icing. No, it's not. Okay. Oh, goal! Tim Berglund scored, assisted by Joe Rickey. We are up 2-1 with 10:50 left to go in the first period. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a game with many goals. Oh, Steve Yzerman took a penalty for slashing. We are going on the power play. Alright, let's make them pay for that. Dear God, Chevalier is all over the place. Doug Crossman took a penalty, so that kills our power play. There was 52 seconds left on it. So we are playing some 4-on-4 hockey here. And again, go little squares. Alright. Alright. Oh. Alright, so Yves Resson scored from Steve Yzerman and Sean Burr. Like, Wendell Young must have been on his butt or something because he didn't even, like, move towards the puck, and the puck went in, like, really slowly. So it's tied at 2 here in the first period with 6:52 left to go in the first. Alright, come on, guys. Alright, come on, buddy. Puck is out of play. Alright, still tied at 2. 4:30 to go left in the first period. Come on. Oh. They're like dancing. Oh, against Nick Lidstrom, you're not gonna pass, man. You're not... Oh, you did. Never mind. This game is full of surprises. Alright. Can we get a goal before the end of the period? Oh! No. Came close, I think. That was a nice play, actually. 20 seconds left to go. No, no, no. Alright. So the first period is over, and we are tied at 2. So we did get 11 shots. They got 14, so we are not completely outclassed so far. Now let's go ahead and see what happens here in the second period. Oh. Oh. We've been playing pretty good so far this period. Alright, not so much anymore. Oh, oh, oh. Who's gonna catch up to him? Why did he dump it? He had a perfect line to the net. Nobody was even close. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, I think it was a goal. Alright. Come on, buddy. Oh, oh. No. Alright. Shot from a distance. Oh. Alright, so the wings are breaking out. Not as many goals here in this period. Alright, so Wendell Young holds on to the puck. 10:30 left to go in the second period. Still tied at 2 here in Tampa Bay against the Red Wings. Alright, so we took an icing. Uh-oh. Why do we have only 2 players playing defense here? Right, come on. Puck is out of play. 7:03 left to go in the second period, tied at 2. Come on, let's beat the Wings at least once this year. That would be nice. Uh-oh. Oh, we collapsed in front of the net and we prevented them from scoring. Yeah, I don't think we got many shots this period. Looks like Detroit really clogged the neutral zone and we weren't really able to generate anything offensively. At least we didn't let them score, so at least so far. So maybe there's a little bit of a positive vibe here. 2 minutes left to go in the second period, still tied at 2 here in Tampa Bay. Not a lot of stoppage in the second. Oh, no. Alright, second period is over. We are still tied at 2, so yeah, we got like, what, 5 shots in the second period. Well, they didn't get that many either. Like I said, a lot of the play was in the neutral zone, so, I mean, we're playing toe-to-toe with the Red Wings. That's pretty impressive. So we are tied at 2 heading into the third period. Now, hopefully we're not tired. Hopefully we still have some juice left in the tank. Come on, little black squares. And it is a save here. Oh, another fight for Bob Probert. Who did you fight this time? Adam Creighton. Okay. So 2 fights for Bob Probert in the same game, which is probably not uncommon for him. Another save from Wendell Young. Come on. 3 guys on him and we can't get the puck. Oh, don't know where the puck is anymore. Alright. Uh-oh. Yeah, we have problems getting all the way to the net. Detroit is just too strong. Look at that, 4 players waiting for the puck right there. That was kind of funny. Alright, Sean Chambers. Send it to center ice. Sean Burr took a penalty. Okay, so we have a shot here on the power play with 11:46 left to go in the third period. So go Lightning. Alright, we did get a shot, but we couldn't score. That was Rob Zamuner. Uh-oh. Oof. Nick Lidstrom. No. Wendell Young with his second bad exit of the net. And that cost us a goal this time. So that's a shorty for Detroit. Nick Lidstrom from Sergei Fedorov and Mark Howe. So now we're down 3-2 with 10:19 left to go in the third. We have 34 seconds left of power play time. Oh, that's a save. Come on, guys. Oh, and that's a stop by Wendell Young. Oh, another goal. That one hurts. Paul Isobart from Sergei Fedorov and Steve Chiasson. It is 4-2 Detroit here with 5:40 left to go in the third period. That one's going to be difficult to come back from. Another fight for Bob Probert. All right. Who did he fight this time? Who did you not fight so far? Oh, Joe Rickey. Alright, so Joe Rickey is out for the rest of the game. Unless this goes to overtime for some reason. Reason being that we would tie the game, obviously. Alright, goalie holds the puck. Whoa. Alright. Yeah, I think that's going to be a loss. About 1 minute left to go in the third. We're down 2. And we just can't get to the net much. Detroit is just too strong. Yeah, we had pulled the goaltender, so Vyacheslav Kozlov just scored from Ray Shepard and Steve Yzerman, made it 5-2, and that kind of seals the deal. Alright, so we lost 5-2, so we were doing pretty good all the way to the third period, then we just allowed a few goals, and that was too bad. Alright, so Detroit outshot us 29-20 in that game. Steve Yzerman was the first star. He had a goal and 2 assists. Ray Shepard was the second star with 2 assists, and Yves Rassin was the third star with a goal. Oh, we cracked 10,000 people in the attendance, I believe, for the first or second time. 10,267 people in attendance for that game. So Jason Lafreniere scored first from Brent Gretzky and Mark Bergevin. Then Detroit tied the game, and then Tim Berglund scored from Joe Rickey. Made it 2-1 Tampa Bay at that point, and then Detroit tied the game before the end of the first period, and we were tied at 2 after 1. And there was a fight between Jason Lafreniere and Bob Probert. Nobody scored in the second period, and in the third, Detroit scored 3 unanswered goals, and that was it. Right, so strong game for Cam Neely, who had a hat-trick against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and sim all the way to April 1st. Alright, so Ottawa is trying to pass Neil Brady off on waivers. I'm not going to claim him. Donna Odette has a memorable game for Buffalo. He had a hat-trick 3 goals against the Sens. Christian Ruutu is back from suspension in Chicago. Joe Sakic extends his assist streak to 8 games with 3 assists against the Rangers. Leo Gudas is back from suspension in Pittsburgh. Danton Cole and Rob DiMaio are kind of ready to come back. We'll see who's healthy and everything after that. We have a few more days off, which is nice when you have injuries. Alright, so Rob DiMaio is fine, and Ken Hodge is also doing pretty good. Alright, so Ray Bourque is hurt with a day-to-day injury. Mild groin strain. Open ice leads to a productive night for Calle Johansson, who had a goal and 4 assists against Buffalo. Mike Ridley has a strong game in that same game. He had a hat-trick. Alright, and then the scouting reports. I did bring up... that's funny. There was another guy named Alexander Barkov in the past. I did bring up that it's always the same guys that are shown here on the forums, and it was acknowledged by a dev that they that they have noticed that as well, and that they're gonna try to work on fixing it. And he seemed to say that there was something else that was supposed to happen that's not happening, like more reports to show. But anyway. And then Rob DiMaio is ready to come back, so that's good. We're definitely going to go ahead and fix that here before the next game, which is going to be tomorrow at home against the Vancouver Canucks. One more sim. Joe Sakic has a memorable game. He had 3 goals and 3 assists against Montreal, so that's pretty good. And that was 12 straight games with a point for him, and 9 straight games with an assist. Wayne Gretzky scored his 800th goal of his career with a goal and 2 assists against Toronto. So, 32 years old, Wayne Gretzky, still a 5-star player, obviously. Alright, so Danton Cole is going to be coming back soon. And the players of the month were Mike Richter and Steve Yzerman. Oh yeah, I'm gonna need to make some changes here before the next video. Alright, so we are stopping here for today, sorry. We are still 11th in the conference, but look at that. We are within striking distance of the Calgary Flames, so we might be catching up to Calgary or something. That's pretty impressive, and we have 11 points more than the Sharks. So all in all, I'm relatively satisfied with our record this season. I knew I wasn't going to, win the cup this year or anything like that. All in all, that's satisfactory. We had a kind of a lousy start to the season, so that kind of slowed us down a little bit. But the last few months, we've been playing a lot better, so... that's pretty encouraging for the future. So we are going to take a look at our stats. So our best player is Brian Bradley, still a point per game player, so 69 points in 68 games for Brian Bradley. Mikael Anderson is 50 and 74. Danton Cole is 48 and 74. And then our best defenseman is Doug Crossman with 42 points in 72 games. Alright, and then in the entire league, now that Mario Lemieux is out for the season, let's see if other players have caught up to him. So Cam Neely has 71 goals, and he is leading the league at this point. 71 goals and 45 assists for Cam Neely. Alright, and Steve Yzerman has 97 assists, but Mario Lemieux is still the best scorer with 160 points. That's 18 more than Steve Yzerman, who's second. And of course, we don't have anybody near there. Our best player has, 60-something points. So, yeah. Alright, we're going to go ahead and save the game. So what's going to happen for those of you that are new to how I do things, the next video is going to be April and the playoffs. Because there's quite a few games left in April to play, and that I'm going to do the playoffs as well, I am probably not going to do the 2D game against St. Louis here. Otherwise the video is going to be way too long. So next video, there's not going to be a 2D video, 2D game, sorry. But we're gonna have the playoffs and we're gonna see who wins the cup and whatnot. So that's it for today, folks. As usual, I do want to thank you for tuning in, and if you've liked the video, please feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, all of that good stuff. And until I roll this game again, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.